All right, y'all, let's get started. It is Tuesday afternoon, which means live stream o'clock is here. Let me find myself. Here I am. I am back again. I think I was away last week. My name is Mike Bifulco. I am Director of Technology, Technical Director for Gymnasium.com. We offer free courses, free video-based, self-paced courses online on our website, which you can sign up for any time of day, 24/7, from anywhere in the world you can get on the internet, and take our courses on all kinds of great stuff having to do with web development, web design, app development, app design, user experience, content creation, writing, all kinds of goodness in there. And you should go find those things and take those things because we work really hard to bring you some pretty phenomenal courses. We've been working on Stream over the past few weeks on a project for Gymnasium to convert our marketing site to a Gatsby and storybook project. So we're going to pick that up today. And just as a little bit of an advanced warning, usually I go for about an hour and a half. I'm going to do probably about an hour today because I've got somewhere to run at 2:30 today, Eastern time, if you care. But so this will be a bit of a brief session, but that's all right. We're going to press on. I'm going to skip some of the theater I tend to go through every week, and we can do the thing. So where do we stand? Well, I'm going to run the project from my command line here. And we can see, oh, actually, I need to start a new branch even. Well, we'll start a new branch. We're going to do a few things. There's a couple of problems that are in the way right now. So let's start with some administrivia. I have a pull request in process for, or I guess a branch in process for putting together header components, which I need to integrate into the project and haven't done yet. And so we're going to do that. We're going to do all the merging nonsense that we have to do. Boy, I'm also going to replace ye olde godfather of Gatsby in the author field here, apparently. But yeah, we're going to get this branch rebased, and we're going to continue working on it. And I'll show you some of the other stuff I've done in the meantime. So let's open this pull request. We're going to work on the rebase, and we can do that on stream because that's a good thing to see. Oh, actually, there's only a couple of conflicts here. So that's really easy to do. So when you open a pull request to a branch, if there's changes upstream in the master branch that conflict with the files that were changed in the relevant branch, you're going to need to update the relevant branch to match those changes, or to take into account those changes, and can't necessarily be done automatically due to the complexities of multiple people working on things. So we're going to resolve these conflicts. We're going to do them from the command line this time. And the way we do that is we will check out the branch locally. So we'll do all of these things. So I'm going to show you exactly how this works. Get fetch origin. We'll go get all of the updates from the origin. Origin, what is it called? Repo? Origin, hang on. Origin remote, right. So we're grabbing all of the changes from the origin remote, including new commits, new branches, deleted branches, all that stuff. We're going to check out this branch. Git checkout feature /make header components. Great. We checked it out. All right. Inside of this branch, we're going to run git merge origin master, which will go up to the origin branch and find the commit differences, which we have here. We see one is in yarn and one is in package, and that's great. That's what we were hoping for because that's what we saw on GitHub. So the way to do this is to open up package.json. We'll zoom in a bit here. We'll see the changes, the differences between the two. And I can tell you what's gone on here is I've updated lots of these dependencies in the background that weren't done on the branch that we're looking at. So I'm going to grab the changes from origin master, the incoming change, which I can do in Visual Studio Code by clicking the provided link. It will do that for me. I will do that on all of these. And actually what I should do is check to make sure there isn't something missing. So .env is in the upstream, so we're gonna get that. We're gonna get Gatsby, updated Gatsby image, manifest, offline, post CSS, React helmet, robots, text, sharp, web font loader, file system, and transformer sharp. So we do want to take this. This has all the updated things. That's great. So we will take the incoming change here. We're going to probably do the same here. Babel core, add-on actions, add-on links, add-ons, React, all storybook stuff. Except the incoming change, that should do it. So this should be good here. So now what we want to do, so we've just resolved the conflicts inside of package.json. So we can tick that, and that'll be ready to commit. And now we have to do the same for the yarn file, which is doable by, the yarn lock file is generated by yarn to pin all of your dependencies to a specific version. Generally, all you need to do is run the yarn command, and it'll regenerate that lock file based on what's in package.json. But because there's been some bugs in some of the dependencies for storybook with generating that yarn file, it's at the moment a temporary thing where I have to actually go and remove it and run yarn again to regenerate it from scratch, which will allow the project to run cleanly and all those other things. So this will generate a yarn file from that package.json. And the yarn file is important on each commit because it allows someone else who's running this exact same commit to use the exact same dependencies as me. So that's great if you have multiple developers. It's great if you have, if you want to replicate your production environment or your staging environment somewhere. That yarn file, yarn lock file, or the package lock file, this guy here will ensure that you're doing that correctly. What I should also do, and I will do after we merge these things, is I'm going to get rid of package lock because we use one or the other, yarn or package. Yarn comes from using the application yarn, and package lock comes from using the npm application. I tend to use yarn, and I don't know, I haven't had a good reason to switch back to npm. So we're gonna remove package lock because that's what I tend to use. So I'm gonna wait for all these things to install. We'll commit, we'll merge these things, and then we'll run the branch. So there we go, that took a minute. We can now commit the yarn file, updated, but what we should do actually before I merge that commit is run yarn story dev, which will run the application. In this case, we have it set up to run both Storybook and Gatsby. So we can see that's going to take a bit, but what it should do is open up Storybook once it's done compiling and all that. Okay, so that's done. So now it opened it in the wrong browser window, but that's okay. Storybook will load, and if I do localhost 8000, we'll see the Gatsby version of the site. And here we go. So we've got a header in its odd state of disarray at the moment. We've got a nice footer, we've got buttons, we've got a link. All those things are there, and then on localhost 8000 we have the Gatsby site that's running. You'll see that most of the content here is still unstyled. We're really just developing the header and footer at the moment, but I've also started to plug in some data. So if I go to courses, we now have data coming from our CMS, which I plumbed in the requisite Gatsby source logic for over the past few days. And I've also hooked up a route for each specific course. So this is all mostly largely unstyled, but all of the text, everything you see that is in this white section is coming from CMS, which is great. It basically means we've gone out to the web and we've gotten something that is, dynamic isn't the right word, but effectively dynamic content on a static site, so we can have our team update this without having to go and deploy some code themselves. It auto deploys. Hope that makes some sense. So this is all good. So right, this merge worked, so we're going to commit this, we're going to push it, and we'll come back to GitHub, and this should, ooh, what happened? Connection to remote was successful, but an error was encountered. What is the error? Your push would publish a private email address. Oh man, I changed my settings on GitHub. Okay. I was playing around with... Damn it. Give me a second. I gotta jump into GitHub and change some settings here. GitHub has some privacy settings that I was messing around with earlier this morning. And look at me now. So keep my email address private. Nah. Okay, let's try it again. Push. Great, looks like it took. Now we should see that happening. This will go and run all of these checks. There are 12 checks or something like that that happen, half of each. Half is for Gatsby, half is for Storybook, because those are effectively two applications that run in parallel. So these things are going to go run. It takes about a minute each. And once those are completed, we can actually merge this pull request. But honestly, for now, we don't need to, so we're just going to let it fly. Yeah, so that's great. Let's talk about what's next here. So what we're going to do today is work on some of the structure of this page. There is, obviously the header has a lot of work that needs to be done still. We need to include some images and all kinds of good stuff in here. The footer is mostly all there. We do still have a problem in Storybook where some of the styles aren't being parsed. So this gap here is not present in Storybook, but is present in Gatsby, which is still a problem. But what I want to do is make it so that we have a site-wide layout that is applied to everything that we can use as a wrapper component. And right now I don't really have that. Let me show you what that means. So let's shrink some of this stuff. If I go to this course page, so courses/100 comes from this template page for a course, the course about page. And in here you can see there's some pretty standard boilerplate looking bootstrap code in here, which is not ideal. We want to move that into the layout so that basically anything that gets sandwiched between the header and the footer has this sort of container row setup applied to it. And we have some decisions to make. It might just be the container, actually. Yeah, I'm unsure. There's a few different approaches to this, but that's perfectly fine. Okay, so all right, to start, let's talk about moving. Well, let's look at the layout. So right now, layout pulls in the site title and drops it into the header. It should probably do some SEO stuff too. Do we have an SEO component? We do. So maybe I'll put SEO in the header as well, or in the layout as well. But this has a header and then a main and then a footer. And what we want to do is wrap that main in some bootstrap stuff and move on with our lives from there. But what we also want to do is switch to, so we are currently using an old version of Bootstrap and we want to move up to the new one. Yeah, I'm wondering if I should do this in a separate branch because it is very different from touching header components, which is what this branch is about. So maybe I will. So we can wait for these changes to go green and then merge this, and then we'll move to a new branch and work on Bootstrap stuff. Can take a bit. We can merge without them, but usually I like to wait. There's also this nice checks page that I recently found on GitHub, which shows you details about each check. And this is sort of an opt-in from the provider that does the, whatever this is called. I guess it's called a check. Like you can see, these all come from Netlify. It gives me some detail about it. All content is secure. Great. Redirect rules. I don't have any redirect rules. No pages changed. Oh, actually, that's true. 6 generated pages and 20 assets changed. Okay. Oh, takes longer than I thought. Well, we can merge it and be mean, but I shouldn't do that. I should wait. So in the meantime, we can talk about how to include Bootstrap into the project and update the versions of Bootstrap we use all around, which will undoubtedly break some of the layout because we're moving from Bootstrap 3 to 4, and there are some pretty foundational changes in how they do column layouts between 3 and 4. But it is, it is as easy as npm installing Bootstrap. Yeah, yarn add Bootstrap 431. Let's kill that. We're gonna do, man, I'm just gonna merge it. I'm gonna merge the thing. You can get mad at me if you want. Yeah, checking my Twitch chats here. All right. Ooh, did it just complete? Oh, it did work. Okay, good. So all those checks are completed. 6 neutral, 4 successful. Lovely. We're going to merge it. I'll use my administrator privileges because we don't really have reviewers yet here in place. We'll delete that branch, and then we're going to go and actually, before I do anything else, I'm going to go and delete the develop branch we have here because we'll use a develop branch in a later workflow, but for now we're just going to stick everything off of master. What does that say? It's protected. Okay, whatever. I'll do that later. Some of this stuff I should have done off stream. Excuse me. So, here we go. We're going to make a new branch. It's very easy to forget that I only have one monitor to show for my live stream. From master, we're going to make a new branch. It's going to be feature bootstrap layout. Great. We can, all of these things are done. So I'm going to delete these old branches. And then we're going to come right back to where we were. We're going to do yarn upgrade interactive latest. It'll probably yell at me about Bootstrap, and that's what we're out to update. Oh, look at that. A bug fix got pushed. Let's see what's in this change. 508, 508, 4118. I don't know. No, we're going to stay on where we are. It looks like we're on a newer one. So we are going to update Bootstrap, which will get us to 431. And that means there's a couple of places we have to go update this. So we'll search Bootstrap in our project. So in the storybook project, we don't include Bootstrap via npm. We use a normal HTML import. We also use our typekit stuff in here. So we're going to have to update these versions. So jQuery, was that jQuery? Yeah, it was. Okay. Weird. I don't think we need to. We'll start with get bootstrap. It'll tell me what to do for version 4. Okay, get started. Copy paste the style sheet link in your head before all the other style sheets to load our CSS. So, Bootstrap CSS, right? This is, yeah, 431. Okay. And many of our components require the use of a JavaScript function. Specifically, they require jQuery, Popper, and our own JavaScript plugins. Place the following scripts near the end of your pages right before the closing body tag to enable them. jQuery must come first, then Popper, then our JavaScript plugins. So we're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of that. And yeah, okay, that's fine. It's just Storybook. We're not really worried about performance, so this doesn't need to be at the end of the file. They'll just hold up the load of the Storybook for a brief moment. And that's cool. I'm good with that. I should add, too, that there are tons of other alternatives to Bootstrap out there. Go with what you're comfortable with or what makes sense for your team. We could probably get away without using Bootstrap for some of our stuff and use it for others, but there's a lot of complexities with the stack we're working with here, so we tend to stick with it. So we've done that. We now need to update Bootstrap references. Okay, that says 431 now, that's good. I'm interested in this. This is the same thing, okay. So it's actually kind of interesting that I've included, so this is the Gatsby side. What we were looking at before, preview head, is the Storybook side. Okay, no, that's cool. We can update it here too. So add scripts for jQuery and Bootstrap, yeah. Actually, no, we don't need to do that here. We can do it with this. What's included? Great. Documentation. There we go. Okay. Boy, I think we might be able to get away with getting rid of this html.js. So we're going to try that for the time being. Remember that because we're using Git, we can always undo this change. Move that to trash. We're going to go to Gatsby browser. Yeah, so this is where we import global-ish things. And we're going to do, we don't need that. We can do, actually this is okay. We'll leave that comment there. We're going to do import Bootstrap. Bootstrap, what is it? Dist, CSS, bootstrap.css, and look at that. So I think what we've just done is included it in here. I wonder if there's a way to do that with Storybook. I'm not really sure. We could look that up. What I should do is make sure that that all just worked. yeah, let's try. So failed to compile. Node modules, Lodash is length. This dependency is not found. Bootstrap dist CSS bootstrap. What did I do wrong? Oh, yes. You need to specify that, or it will not work for you. So we'll kill all the things and start the things again. Cool, this is looking better. We can go and refresh storybook. Yeah, okay, cool. I expect that to be broken. Same here. If I refresh this, the footer columns structure will be broken. But we can go and at least check to see if, ooh, yeah, okay, so there's some bootstrap stuff that's still working because the container class worked. Yeah, so container fluid comes from bootstrap grid SCSS. Lovely, okay. What we need to do is now start using the classes correctly. So let's look at bootstraps, layout stuff. Okay. I've got so much stuff running here. So what we should see here is a row. Interesting. Okay, so there's some conflicting column stuff happening in here. So I've got to figure out what's changed to make that work. Well, the good news is that we've migrated. We've moved versions. And I'm pretty comfortable saying that because this looks identical in both. By both, I mean the Gatsby site and the Bootstrap, the storybook site. We just need to figure out how I'm using it incorrectly. So, oh, I see. Yeah, okay, so we broke a rule there. So, it says that, let me go back and read this to you. Glad I saw that. Rows are wrappers for columns. Each column, nope. Well, let's see. In a grid layout, content must be placed within columns, and only columns may be immediate children of rows. So, by doing row and then footer navigation, I've messed things up. So I'm going to swap the nav with the div around it. Well, there's a lot of stuff in there already. How do we do? So if I come back here, didn't make a dent. Ah, no, maybe it did. Yeah, so that's all I needed to do. So it's pretty close to backwards compatible. That's really nice. All right, so with that being said, we're going to commit this as functioning. Actually, maybe we'll do the header first. There's a lot of gross stuff in here, and we're going to mix it. Actually, I don't understand where that's coming from. No, we're not even going to touch that header. I think we made a bit of a mistake earlier, so upgrade to Bootstrap 4x. We'll commit, we'll push. We're going to come out to GitHub again, and I think I need to rebase that branch, is what I'm guessing. Ugh. I am misunderstanding something. I thought we had a component for the header that was already, that we just closed a pull request for. I thought. Let's see, what was that last pull request I just closed? Make header components. Went into master. So in theory, I should have components header.js. I don't, though. What is that about? That's very confusing. Huh. Okay. I just went and did a rebase here locally, and it looks like there at least was something to be done there. So we're going to do a pull. Oh man. Okay. Well, we're going to do the same nonsense we did to start the stream. Okay. We'll progress through this rebase steadily here. Probably asked me to do that once or twice more. Yeah, just regenerating the silly block file. Okay. Same thing again. Should only be a couple more here. I don't really understand why this is going so poorly. Oops. There must be more in here. Okay, so As always, let's make sure it works still. Great, everything looks hunky-dory there. So we're going to push these, at which point this thing should rebuild again. Very confusingly, somehow GitHub didn't notice that difference. Oh my god. Conflicting files yarn lock. Really? Okay. Okay. Fiercely annoying. One more time. Alright, now that it seems like we're actually working here, one of the other things I want to go look at is there is a React Bootstrap package, which might be interesting to try and use as well. So, what does this take? See documentation. Get started. Install them alongside each other. Should import individual components like that. Browser globals. Style sheets. Because React Bootstrap doesn't depend on a very precise version of Bootstrap, we don't ship with any included CSS. However, some style sheet is required to use those components. How and which Bootstrap styles you include is up to you, but the simplest way is to include the latest styles from the CDN. Okay. Okay, we can try this. Yarn add React Bootstrap. If you plan on customizing Bootstrap SAS files or don't want to use a CDN for the style sheet, it may be helpful to install vanilla Bootstrap as well. Oh, so I don't actually even need that. And this doesn't say anything about jQuery. I kind of like that too. All right, we're trying some experimentation here. I'm good with that though. So, node. So now in, oh, sorry, browser. Now in here, we only need CSS imported, if I'm reading that correctly, and then same with the storybook preview. We only need the CSS here, so that would be, these are all scripts. We just need the style sheet. Okay. Simplifying things again, that's good. And now the footer. Oh, we're gonna have to figure out. Okay. Let's look at how, where did it go? Yeah, oh no, this is what we want to look at. Layout. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so how do we import these things again? Import, I guess we can do either of these. That seems a little exhausting. Yeah, okay, cool. So we're going to use this syntax because it's going to be shorter, and we're not actually sending it to the client per se, because of the Gatsby side of things. So what we're going to do, let's try it. We need import container row call. Container call row from React Bootstrap. No. And then this is going to become a container. All the way to the bottom. Close off a container as well. This might take me a few minutes. That's okay. Okay. So now we need to do the columns. Actually, there's only 3 columns here. 4 columns maybe? I don't know, so it shouldn't take too long. So how do we set widths of columns? Oh, it's the same. Well, it's not the same. Okay. Call XS equals 12. Oh, okay. So there we call XS equals 12, SM equals 10, and MD equals 3. Look at that. We've done it. Now we just need to be sure to close all of these off in the right place, or it's going to become a nightmare to read. I'm curious to see if this works. Call XS equals 6, MD equals 2. And then we're missing a class name there, so we'll put that in a second. But this needs to be closed, and maybe we'll give that to this section. I'm just going to put it in a div now, for now. We might be able to compact that a tiny bit. the same thing again. Div section. Okay, outside of the section we need a. Sorry, confusing myself for a second there. Great. Okay, call xs equals 6, md equals 1, and then inside of that a div class social. Did I do it? Yeah, okay. And actually, if there's only one column, if they're split evenly, it looks like I didn't have to do any of that specifying. So let's start by see if it works in Gatsby here. And what do we got? Header should be messed up. Okay, maybe it's not. Footer? It worked? Let's double check on that with our React Inspectorizer. Yeah, cool. That's great. So that's really cool. So now I can use these rows and columns sort of semantically in a more readable way. I like that. The footer's a bit of a mess. There's a lot going on here. And then, so this should respond correctly too. So we'll hit this. Yeah, nice. Well, okay, that's not working quite right. Oh, no, those excesses should be 12s. Where is it? Goodness. Actually, that's not bad. Yeah, no, that's okay. We're going to leave it. Good. Okay. It gets down to a really tiny resolution before it crashes. So, now that we've done all the work for the... Oh, we should check storybook too. Ooh, I like this a lot. That uncomplicated things quite a bit. Okay, how's my storybook doing here? Oh, wonderful. Everything works. Cool. All right. Well, then we are going to push this. And those are great updates. So we got rid of a lot of dissimilar code across the two projects. We don't even need the bootstrap dependency anymore, do we? Ah, right. Okay, good. We'll hang on to that. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, and Storybook grabs it from here. That's okay too. All right, so that's the only bit of dissimilar code left. Everything else is the same. Go to React Bootstrap. So that's a really cool change. So now we'll be able to do React code in a more, from a developer standpoint, more semantically readable way, and we can also take advantage of some of these other things that are in here, which is all great. So utilities, what are utilities? Oh, animations. Ooh, nice. A fade. Yeah, well, there's not much there yet, but I'm sure more are coming. Cool. Okay. Well, with that said, let's go and grab one more. Oh, okay. We have this pull request open. So, yeah, I need to take off. That's going to be it for the stream for today. It was a quick one. I misscheduled an appointment in the middle of my stream here, so I got to run. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. We'll pick up with this probably over the next few weeks. It's going to be moving kind of leaps and bounds. Now that the basic project is up and running, I'm going to do a little bit more offline than I had been doing on stream before, off stream before, just because we want to make some progress on this thing. So we'll pick it up next week. We'll see where we're at, and I'll walk through whatever it is I'm working on at that point. So until then, yeah, catch me on Twitter at irreverentmike, or go find me on Gymnasium. You can get me through the chat window there or at my email address, and as always, you should go take some of our awesome courses. All right, guys, until next week, bye-bye.